Good morning. So, kind of have some good news. Dometic, while they would not technically acknowledge there was an issue with my toilet, I kept asking them. I said, can you tell from my serial number if my toilet has the problem? Well, very few have had this problem. We sell tens of thousands of these toilets every day or every year or whatever, and it's just blown out of proportion. Very few toilets have that problem. She was very nice.
She just said in comparison to how many they make, not a lot had the problem. So if they made tens of thousands, there could easily be 1,000 toilets out there that have the problem.
So apparently I can't win the lottery or any kind of thing like that. Well, I don't play the lottery, but you know what I'm saying. But I can win the stinky toilet contest. I finally just said, okay, well, I put a string back behind the toilet in that area, and I pulled the string out, and it was wet. She goes, well, then you probably have that problem. So they acknowledged it without acknowledging it. So they said, well, we've got new toilets. We fixed the problem. We can send you a new toilet. It'll be there in about 5 days, which will be here one day later than what we were going to leave. But that's okay. That's still not great. We still have to figure out what to do with the stinkiness in the meantime. The advantage is, though, is that we are at least here. Once we get out of here, we're only going to stay 3 or 4 days at one place. So it's going to be really hard to time this. And we don't actually have any of that planned. So it could have really screwed us up if we hadn't had the week here. So, but I digress. Back to as what I was saying, I really didn't want to get another toilet just like this. My confidence level in this toilet, and it just wasn't there. So she said I could upgrade for $50 to the ceramic bowl version. We had to take some measurements to make sure it fit. It should fit. It seems to have clearance. And for $25 more, we could actually, instead of the plastic lid, get a wood lid, which is a lot. Wood toilet lids are much better than those plastic things, even on your real toilet at home. So it was $75. There is no charge for the shipping. It'll be shipping out from Texas. She didn't actually say when I'd get it.
She said it should be a lot quicker.
She said it'd be quicker because it's coming from Texas.
We got it by Friday.
So we might get it by Friday. But in the meantime, we have to figure out what to do with the stink. Okay, I'm standing right by the toilet, and well, maybe the dog farted. Pine Sol does help if you're dealing with this issue.
I guess it wasn't
the issue with the LTE feature of the Wi-Fi Ranger. Honestly, I wouldn't buy any of those now. The problem is you're not going to get the best rate, especially if you go with Verizon. You're not going to get the best rate. Verizon wants you to buy their jetpack. That's the only way you're going to get a good rate. So even from that aspect, even if the LTE Wi-Fi Ranger worked, it doesn't really help the signal much. I can put my cell phone up on the roof and get the same signal strength. I've tested that. But the one time it did, that's how we got through in Colorado Springs, is I just would go out and set my cell phone up on top of the camper, and then I had internet. So I am going to just get a cell repeater, and I'm going to just use my cell phones. I can tether the Wi-Fi Ranger to my cell phones, so I can have one central connection for all my devices, as far as my devices, my cameras in the camper and all that, and I can just put my iPad on hotspot mode and use that. So we're going to go ahead and do what I should have done to begin with, what I thought about doing to begin with, but I really wanted to just keep everything central with the hardware that came with the camper, and that's why I went with the Wi-Fi Ranger LTE device. I'm giving you basically the same advice that Fate Unbound is giving, and I'm an IT guy, and it was my first inclination was to go that route even before seeing Fate Unbound's video about it. But again, I wanted to try to use something that was part of what was in the camper. You know, it came with the Wi-Fi Ranger. It'd be nice just to use it all in one system. It might work a little better, a little less hassle with, you know, having to tether my Wi-Fi Ranger to my iPad so that all my devices can still be tethered to one thing, my Wi-Fi Ranger. Hope all that made sense. It's a lot to kind of explain. But long story short, it doesn't work. So really the best option is the way Fate Unbound is doing it. There's also another cool part about this. If you leave your camper and you have an iPhone and you're using that as it, and you have your surveillance camera showing you when your camper is being tampered with or whatever, and you have Find My Phone enabled on it, and I'm sure you can do this with Android as well, but if you have Find My Phone enabled, just put your iPhone somewhere they can't see it, like in a corner somewhere. If somebody actually does try to steal your trailer, you can track them, at least until they find your phone. You're actually killing two birds with one stone. You get a lot better rates. If you have two cell phones, you're going to get 15 gig of high speed. You can just use one phone when it's used up, then use the other. You're still going to get internet off those phones even after you've used the 15 gig. So that is my update on the Wi-Fi Ranger. They did give me an RMA. I'm sending it back. I'm going to get my $200 for the LTE device. I spent 75 bucks to pay for a new toilet. It'll be here hopefully before the end of the week. Now I got to go up and get the Wi-Fi Ranger off and get that packed. All right, man, it's been a busy day. I've just finally got all the parts I need to get this RotopaX installed. I'm kind of modifying this amount. So anything I mention here, I may have listed on my Amazon reseller link. If you go to thejohnnyoshow.com/promotions, again, thejohnnyoshow.com/promotions. If these are on Amazon, I'll put links to them. One of the items is I purchased this backing plate. It was like 29 bucks. Came with some bolts and stuff. You're definitely going to want one of these, maybe two. Then with the RotopaX, this came from the company. This part right here, this round plate, but it's really thin. So you're going to want, depending on what you're mounting it on, if you need a solid backing, you're going to want one right next to that, like this. So here's that solid backing I got, and then this will be that. The bolts run through and to another one that's on the other side of your pipes or whatever. But I'm going to do it a little differently. I went in and got me some of these U-bolt type things here, and they will go right through this, and basically they're going to come right through here. This is the plan anyway, and they're going to come right through like that. I got two of these, and I'll cut them off to the length I need. The one mounting bracket from RotopaX, this thinner round one right here, comes with two 1/2-inch grade 5 5/16 screws. So I've changed those out to 3/4 inch right here, and I put in a 1/4 inch of washers. So my thought is this will go through, and see, those washers provide the spacing. I need to run these through, and it's going to have these lock nuts on the end, and as you can see, it needs more clearance. So that's why I use the bigger washers. So when this is slid in, it's actually pressing against these nice big washers. So that's like a standoff. I don't know if you can see that. So those washers provide the standoff. When I put these through and put the nuts on, they won't be hitting this tank. So we'll see if this is going to work. Again, I just used 3 1.5-inch washers, 5/16 by 1.5 inch. 3 of those. I changed the bolts out to 3/4 inch instead of 1/2 inch. They were 5/16 grade 5 3/4 inch bolts. So I'm going to tighten that down. I think that looks good. That looks like that looks good, and it's going to have the clearance it needs. So I'm going to tighten all this together. I'll get it mounted and we'll see how it works. There you go. It's all bolted together. So here you can see it where I have the thicker mounting bracket. This again was purchased from a third-party company, not from RotopaX. You can see the basic idea of how that's going to mount. This makes it nice and sturdy and strong. I do have to drill these holes out. They're square, so I'll have to drill them out a little bit so that they will fit. But basically these will go on here like so once I clear those holes out to the right, and that'll go all the way back to there. I will then put the nuts on, and then I'll cut off the excess, and then we should be good. So we'll see how that does. It's starting to come together. It's pretty solid. Now I'm going to just take and cut these off. It'll still clear with this. The tank will be held out. Here we go. Mounting a RotopaX tank to a bike rack. So I used a hacksaw to do that. Dremel or something might have been easier. It was a little rough here, but that's not even coming. You're never getting that off without a lot of work. So here we go. All cut off. Now let's put the tank on. Look at that. Good clearance all the way around. All right, there we go. All attached, locked into place. The only way they're going to get it off is to cut this. They can't unbolt anything. Well, they could take this bolt out right here, pull that pin and take this bolt out, but I actually tried taking this bolt off and it was kind of difficult. Still, it's not like they can just take the tank and walk off with it. They still would have to unbolt that. So it's a little bit of security. And I don't have the bike rack right now, the attachment, but it should clear. I measured all this before we left, and it only came out like basically a 1/4 inch tops on each side. So the fitting for the bike rack will actually fit just fine here, because the rest of it doesn't start until up higher. But yeah, that worked. Worked really, really well. Very pleased. Now, the next thing I've done is I've got to crawl into there and take some measurements for tank heaters, because it's going to get cold. But yeah, a tank heater will at least help eliminate some possible freezing. I'll get 3 tank heaters. There is an AC box right here. Looks like an AC box. I don't know how I'll wire the switch. I'm going to try to get that done. Got to get that done before we go, because we're going to be going north and we're going to avoid snow, but that doesn't mean it ain't going to get cold. So kind of want to be somewhat prepared. Okay, so I am going to get tank heaters, but I think I just realized another cool feature with this water miser. Listen to the pump. I just have it trickling right now. Just a very slow trickle. So it goes back into the fresh water tank. So the hot water comes through the line, goes through the water miser, and goes right back in the fresh water tank. And at a trickle, the pump only kicks on once in a while. I don't know if you can hear it. Go ahead and listen. I'll hold this here. So it just does that little spurt. It doesn't run very long, but basically I'm taking hot water from the hot water heater, running it all the way up to the shower, and then all the way back into the holding tank. So we're actually putting hot water, if it runs long enough, you're actually putting hot water back into your holding tank. I think that could be very beneficial to help keeping your lines from freezing when it gets colder. You'd be pretty well set in most situations, unless you're really doing some extremely cold weather. I think we're going to be good. We're going to avoid snow as we're going north. Everybody said we're crazy for going north this time of year. I think the biggest hazard is making sure that as we go, we avoid traveling on roads that have snow. Don't worry about it being cold, you know, just worry about, are the roads clear? But actually, after thinking about the water miser situation, I'm feeling really good about keeping our tanks from freezing. I'm going to get me some tank thermometers so I can remotely monitor the temperature of the tanks. I'm going to experiment with this. Hopefully I can get them here and experiment with this before we leave Colorado next week. But again, I'm still probably going to get the tank heaters. I'm still doing research. I'll probably order all that tomorrow. But I was just excited about that idea. Hello, Daddy-O. How you doing today? Hanging in there? Just relaxing?
Yeah, I'm always relaxing.
Always relaxing?
That's all I can do.
All right, Robin.
Yeah.
What are we going to do, Robin?
You're gonna go meet the fat goat.
You're going to meet a fat goat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Hi, goat. How are you, goat? How you doing? Man, you are a fat goat.
Hi, little goatie. Hi. Oh, look at his tail. Hi. Does he have a name? Or she?
They named her Carla.
Hey, are you trying to eat my camera?
Watch you don't grab it right out of your hand
Hey.
and try to eat it.
Hey, don't, no,
Don't
no.
eat the weeds or the grass.
Don't eat my camera.
She's
Nope.
play like crazy. Hey, Nanny.
Are you going to go in with it, Robin?
Yeah. Hi, Carla. Come here. Come here. Oh, you just like good girl, I guess.
She
Come here.
loves to be rubbed in.
Come here. Carla, come here. Come here.
Watch out, she looks like that wild look she has.
Hi, Carla. Oh, look.
She's rubbing on the horse.
Is that your friend? Is that your friend? Does she like her?
I don't know. They don't speak the same language, so, you know.
Oh, it's so cute.
Goat would like some attention, and the horse would like some attention, but they have to
Oh, there.
see what she's doing.
Hi.
Uh-huh. Hi.
Be sure she don't do it to you in your camera.
Welcome to the Orgias Petting Zoo.
Hi.
Yes, I know. It's just the tower. I just wish it was my tower. Look at that. This is a tower that my brother built. It's 160 feet plus 20 feet pole that extends from the top, putting it at 180 feet total. 160 meter ham antenna off that thing. That would be awesome. Ooh, scratchy ears, scratchy ears. Are you having fun? Whoa! Hi. So Mama made us some zuppa. What is it? Zuppa
Toscana.
Toscana.
Oh boy.
Robin really likes this soup.
I do.
That looks good, Mom.
It does.
Looks good.
Looks really good.
It looks yummy. I'm gonna take a picture of it really quick because
Port wine
Port wine,
made by Stony Mesa Winery.
Stony Mesa Winery.
Yes.
That stuff is really good.
yeah, it really is.
Even Robin likes it. She hates wine.
And the other is
Tom, we're gonna
Stony
eat.
Mason Cabernet Franc.
All right.
That Babs thinks is wonderful.
It wasn't bad either, but that little thing you got there. So you said it was like $60 a bottle?
No, it's 30 or 40, I
Oh.
think.
All right.